Elasticity of demand, Part 2. Second, perfectly inelastic demand, ED is equal to 0. When a percentage change in price has no effect on the quantity demanded of a commodity, it is called perfectly inelastic demand. For example, 20% fall in price will have no effect on quantity demanded. In practice, such a situation rarely occurs. For example, demand for salt, milk. In figure 3.12, where price rises from OP to OP1 or when price falls from OP to OP2, demand remains unchanged at OQ. Therefore, the demand curve is a vertical straight line parallel to the y-axis, indicating perfectly inelastic demand. Third, unitary elastic demand, ED is equal to 1. When a percentage change in price leads to a proportionate change in quantity demanded, then demand is said to be unitary elastic. For example, 50% fall in price of a commodity leads to 50% rise in quantity demanded. In figure 3.13, when price falls from OP to OP1 50%, demand rises from OQ to OQ1 50%. Therefore, the slope of the demand curve is a rectangular hyperbola. Fourth, relatively elastic demand, ED is bigger than 1. When a percentage change in price leads to more than proportionate change in quantity demanded, the demand is said to be relatively elastic. For example, 50% fall in price leads to 100% rise in quantity demanded. In figure 3.14, when price falls from OP to OP1 50%, demand rises from OQ to OQ1 100%. Therefore, the demand curve has a flatter slope. Fifth, relatively inelastic demand, ED is bigger than 1. When a percentage change 1 is bigger than ED. When a percentage change in price leads to less than proportionate change in the quantity demanded, demand is said to be relatively inelastic. For example, 50% fall in price leads to 25% rise in quantity demanded. In figure 3.15, when price falls from OP to OP1 50%, demand rises from OQ to OQ1 25%. Therefore, the demand curve is a steeper slope. Methods of measuring price elasticity of demand. First, ratio or percentage method. Ratio method is developed by Professor Marshall. According to this method, elasticity of demand is measured by dividing the percentage change in demand by the percentage change in price. Percentage method is also known as arithmetic method. Price elasticity is measured as ED is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded by percentage change in price. Numerical example. Do you know? While using percentage method of measuring price elasticity of demand, we must keep following points in our mind. First, value of elasticity of demand is negative because of the negative slope of demand curve. But for the sake of simplicity, we ignore negative sign. Second, price elasticity of demand is a pure number. It does not depend upon units in which price of the commodity and its quantity are measured. Second, total expenditure method. This method was developed by Professor Marshall. In this method, total amount of expenditure before and after the price change is compared. Here the total expenditure refers to the product of price and quantity demanded. Total expenditure is equal to price into quantity demanded. In this connection, Marshall has given the following propositions. A. Relatively elastic demand, where ED is bigger than 1. When with a given change in the price of a commodity, total outlay increases, elasticity of demand is greater than 1. B. Unitary elastic demand, ED is equal to 1. When price falls or rises, total outlay does not change or remains constant. Elasticity of demand is equal to 1. C. Relatively inelastic demand, where 1 is bigger than ED. When with a given change in price of a commodity, total outlay decreases, elasticity of demand is less than 1. This can be explained with the help of the following example. Table 3.4 Total expenditure method. In table 3.4, in case A, original price is rupees 6 per unit and quantity 5 per unit demanded is 10 units. Therefore, total expenditure incurred is rupees 60. When price falls to rupees 5, quantity demanded rises to 20 units. The total expenditure incurred is rupees 100. In this case, total outlay is greater than original expenditure. Hence, at this stage, elasticity of demand is greater than 1, that is, relatively elastic demand. In case B, original price is rupees 4 per unit and quantity demanded is 30 units. Therefore, total expenditure is rupees 120. When price falls to rupees 3 per unit, quantity demanded rises to 40 units. Total expenditure incurred is rupees 120. In this case, total outlay is same or equal to original expenditure. Hence, at this point, elasticity of demand is equal to 1, ED is equal to 1, that is unitary